Are you ready for me? I'm Jasper Leifering from Amsterdam Vintage Watches, and if you are ready for me, you have to be ready for this week's watches. Number 31. I had a blast doing the previous 30 this week watches, and this is number 31, and already we've decided to do something big, more nice watches coming your way, and this time we're featuring only 3 Rolexes. Furthermore, we've got 2 very nice watches from Jaeger-LeCoultre and 1 Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Let's get to it. I just mentioned the brand Jaeger-LeCoultre, so it's also on my wrist. It's a very, very petite sized dress watch. You will look a fool if you can't pull this watch off, for sure. It's a very nice size, 32 millimeters only, automatic movement, featuring a date window. Not the only watch we have that is for sale also. This steel IWC in front of me is known as the Geomatic. It's priced at €5,900 and is supplied with an extremely accurate and reliable automatic movement. The sizing is slightly bigger than this watch, so if you're more into the 35-36 millimeter range dress watches, this might be your best choice. We need more JLCs. You gotta love this brand. We just featured this very reliable movement inside the Geomatic, and the next watch is also supplied with an interesting inside. High frequency movement, 28,800 HF. It's a crazy cool movement, and just like the Geomatic, the GL logo, which are my initials, is applied on the dial. Interesting enough, they choose for the speed beat, which they produced in the 1970s, to put the logo at the 9 o'clock position. This is very uncommon. We rarely see this on any watch, but this watch in particular always has this trademark. Very well balanced in my opinion, as the date function is at the 3 o'clock position. The 12 o'clock position we find the Jaeger-LeCoultre riding. Champagne dial, gold watch case. Original crowns are still supplied with the watch, priced at €5,500, and it's definitely a beautiful piece. So far we discussed the more dressier watches supplied to leather straps. This one is on a Cordovan bracelet and this one on a very elegant crocodile. Up next we find Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. And I hear you thinking, okay, you're not into modern watches, but for this piece we had to make an exception. Why? Because the design is so timeless. It's a super classic watch. Although it's still fully in its original stickering with the box, hang tag and everything, the watch is belonging in our shop. And why? Also because the sizing to me is wonderful. 36 millimeters Royal Oak. That's cool. Price is slightly under €13,000 and therefore also very interesting to offer it. Before we go to the only chronograph we're featuring this week, it's time for some divers. Starting off with one of the most rare references within Rolex history, 16800. Yes, only produced for 9 months. In 1987, featuring a different steel material, 904L, which we all know of course, but it wasn't featured in the 1600. It was only featured in the 16610, but in between the transitional model and this one is aged so nicely. The bezel is very cool. It definitely experienced some crazy moments probably because the bezel aged in a very nice fashion, as well as the full tritium hour markers and the tritium handset, all magnificently appealing and only for the price of €7,800. Once more, it's 5513 time. You really seem to love this model, as every week we drop this one, every week somebody picks it up pretty fast, and another meters first, yet again with its original bezel, yet again with the riveted oyster bracelet, and yet again the nice aging on the tritium. Both the plots as well as the handset. Magnificent model, was only polished probably by life and maybe 1 or 2 times in the factory, as it still appears to have very thick lugs. Pricing of this watch dating back to 1966 is €12,900. With the greatest pleasure, we're bringing you yet again another 16520. This watch, of course, is powered by the El Primero movement, and we love this watch, and the collectors out there are going crazy, especially if we have an early one like this, the N series dating back to 1991, white dial with inverted 6 at the lowest subdial. It's still kept in its very nice condition. Its original bracelet, virtually stretch free. Furthermore, no scratches on the dial. It's a perfect set with the nice bezel, very fine piece. This nice specimen will go at the price of 19,200 bucks. Normally, I end by saying the best day to buy a vintage watch is today. However, this time I will say the best hour to buy a vintage watch is this hour, because last week's drop was sold within 2 days. And I mean all 6 watches. So make sure you open up a new tab, go to our website and order one of these watches, or get the fuck on your bike, drive to the store, and we will help you. Time is running. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Instagram, Facebook, you're always welcome. Also in the shop. And we will see you next time. Yay!